Let's look at a puzzling idea. In 2020, the richest 1% in the US took almost 43% of all new wealth. Still, many people do not want high taxes on inheritance. They say it's about fairness. How can we balance these facts without causing more inequality? Can we find a middle way between keeping personal wealth and closing gaps in society?
That's an interesting question, Michelle. People against high inheritance taxes say it's like paying taxes twice, once on income and again when wealth is passed on. But countries like Sweden and Denmark have high estate taxes, which help balance society. History shows these places have more social mobility and less wealth gap. Could a new tax system help make society fairer instead of punishing people?
Yes, Guy. Adding to that, it's important to think about the future economy. With new finance systems, we might soon have no need for traditional ideas like wealth transfer and taxes between countries. Imagine if AI could share wealth fairly around the world without family bias. How would this change our ideas of inheritance and legacy?
That's an interesting idea, Ryan. But we should think about the feelings and traditions tied to inheritance. Giving money to family is a big part of our culture, like in old times when the oldest got everything to keep family wealth. These old ideas can change slowly. How can we mix these deep wishes with modern fairness rules?
But doesn't it raise a question? If these old traditions keep privilege, do they stop society and innovation from growing? Could changing inheritance rules help not just the economy but also social and culture change? How can we help societies grow while respecting history and culture? What if changing legacy is also about changing community duty? Think about this. The top 1% are getting a bigger share of wealth. Is our idea of inheritance old now? If we handle it well, can changing inheritance taxes help share wealth better?
That's a good point, Michelle. Some say inheritance tax hurts success by adding another money burden. But if we look at Japan, they have very high inheritance taxes. They focus on earning through merit, not inheritance. This might be a model for countries to rethink economic growth.
Yes, Guy. Digital money is changing things. What if inheritance avoids cash and uses digital contracts or smart assets instead? How might this change and open up old inheritance ideas?
That's an interesting idea, Ryan. But we must remember, inheritance is personal. It's about more than money. How do we mix these traditions with new finance ways? Can social contracts give us a fair way that respects everyone?
This makes me wonder, do old inheritance ways keep people in power and stop society from growing? Would changing these ways help the economy and culture? Can a focus on community responsibilities be a good change? Here's a thought for you all. Despite the debate about inheritance taxes, what if having less inheritance gives equal chances for future generations? Imagine a world where money goes to community projects instead of family. Could this change in success make a more equal world?
Interesting idea, Michelle. Look at countries like Sweden and Denmark, where community support is more important than personal wealth. They have stable and happy communities. Maybe investing in society is better than keeping money in the family?
And Guy, let's think deeper. What if technology changes inheritance? Imagine AI managing wealth for everyone's good. This sounds like sci-fi, but blockchain and smart contracts make it real. Would this tech change traditional ideas about wealth and make things fairer?
Those tech ideas sound good, Ryan, but can they handle the feelings tied to inheritance? Giving money is about support and emotions. Families want to keep their history. How can we mix emotions with new money systems? Are we ready to think about community rather than just family?
Good points, everyone. But think more, do old inheritance ways keep society stuck by keeping old power? What if changing these traditions helps economic and cultural growth? Imagine making our values about helping everyone, building a strong society instead of just focusing on personal gain. Here's a core paradox. Despite technology's promise to democratize wealth, the richest 1% in the US captured nearly 40% of new wealth by 2020. This concentration of wealth begs the question, can we justify inheritance systems that perpetuate inequality across generations? Shouldn't we challenge these norms to avoid widening socioeconomic chasms?
That's a tough question, Michelle. Some people think heavy inheritance taxes are unfair, like being taxed twice. But countries like Sweden and Denmark show that these taxes can help equality and social mobility. Do these models really help society grow, or do they harm personal financial drive?
Adding to that, Guy, let's think about how new financial technologies could change traditional wealth transfers. Imagine AI systems helping share wealth without bias, maybe through cryptocurrency or digital ledgers. Could these ideas break down old wealth barriers and support global economic fairness?
That's an interesting idea, Ryan, but we must remember inheritance's cultural importance. It has historically meant family security and continuity. How can we keep these traditions while meeting modern demands for fairness?
This issue touches on a deeper question. Do these long-standing traditions inhibit societal progression? Can reforming inheritance practices be a catalyst for not only economic growth, but also cultural rejuvenation, redirecting responsibilities toward communal well-being over personal gain? As wealth among the top 1% continues to expand, isn't it time to reevaluate outdated inheritance perspectives? By updating inheritance tax systems, could we achieve a more balanced distribution of wealth?
That's an important question, Michelle. Some people say high inheritance taxes stop productivity, but in Japan, high taxes on inheritance favor skills over family ties and still keep the economy lively. Could this be a way to encourage growth?
Guy, imagine a future where things like NFTs and cryptocurrencies change inheritance. With smart contracts, wealth could be shared fairly and openly, maybe changing how we think about inheritance into something fair and useful.
While technology offers exciting prospects, Ryan, we can't overlook the personal nature of inheritance. It's often an emotional guarantee for future generations. How do we integrate these traditions with emerging financial technologies to respect legacies while promoting collective welfare?
This raises another issue. Do conventional inheritance norms perpetuate unequal power dynamics and stall potential growth? Could modernizing these norms invigorate both economic justice and cultural vibrancy, emphasizing shared community obligations? Picture this, a society where inheritance takes a back seat to communal investments. What kind of ripple effects would arise from channeling wealth into public improvement instead of personal heirlooms? Could this encourage a truly equitable society for the future?
That's a big idea, Michelle. Countries like Sweden and Denmark focus on community welfare more than personal wealth, leading to healthier, more connected societies. Could this collective investment model be the way to true equality?
Guy, imagine AI's role here managing public funds clearly with blockchain. This technology might change how we share wealth, challenging old inheritance systems for fair distribution.
While these tech advancements are promising, Ryan, can they capture the emotional essence of inheritance? Beyond financial security, it's about familial ties and continuity. How do we balance these emotional components with egalitarian innovations, promoting a collective vision over individual interests?
With that, we must ask, are entrenched inheritance customs the real barriers to societal progression? Could transforming these traditions empower both economic vitality and cultural enrichment, making societal responsibilities outweigh personal gain? Even in the digital age, the richest 1% got almost 43% of new wealth in 2020. This makes us think, if inheritance creates inequality, how can we challenge these ideas to stop making the gap bigger between generations? What new ideas can help share wealth more fairly?
That's an important question, Michelle. Some say high inheritance taxes are like double taxation and stop people from reaching their money goals. But countries like Sweden and Denmark tell a different story. Do these high tax methods help society grow, or do they hurt people's drive to succeed?
I agree, Guy. Think about new technologies changing how we pass on wealth. Imagine AI using blockchain to share resources fairly. These digital tools could break old wealth barriers and promote fairness worldwide. Could this tech change how we see our financial legacy?
Ryan, while tech is exciting, we can't forget inheritance's cultural importance. It's always helped keep families stable. How can we meet today's fairness demands without losing these traditions?
These old traditions make us ask, do they hold back society? If we change inheritance rules, could we grow the economy and refresh culture focusing on public good instead of personal gain? As the rich get richer, is it time to rethink old inheritance ideas? Could changing tax rules help share wealth more fairly, benefiting everyone?
It's a key debate, Michelle. People against high inheritance taxes say they stop innovation by adding financial hurdles. But look at Japan. Despite high taxes, it has a strong economy with a system based on merit. Could this balance be a model for other countries?
Guy, maybe the future of inheritance is in digital assets like NFTs and crypto. With smart contracts, wealth sharing could be fair and open, challenging old legacy ideas. Could using these digital tools make us think differently about the future?
Ryan, while these tools are interesting, inheritance is personal. It's about emotions and family promises. How can these new tech solutions keep the emotional value of legacy and still push for fairness?
This chat makes us ask more. Do old inheritance norms protect unfair power and stop growth? Could updating these norms make the economy fairer and the culture richer, helping us to think more about community? Imagine a world where inheritance matters less than community investments. How would giving wealth to public welfare change society? Could this create a truly fair society for future generations?
That's a bold idea, Michelle. In Sweden and Denmark, where community welfare is crucial, we see healthier, united societies. Could this focus lead to real equality worldwide?
Guy, imagine AI managing these community investments via blockchain. This kind of clarity could redefine wealth sharing, questioning old inheritance ideas for the greater good.
While these tech ideas are interesting, Ryan, can they really understand the importance of inheritance? It's about family stories and identities. How do we mix these emotional parts with fairness ideas to respect both old ways and shared success?
The big question is, do old inheritance habits slow progress? Could changing these habits boost the economy and enrich culture, focusing on public rather than family priorities? Let's look at an interesting problem. In 2020, the richest 1% in the US took about 43% of all new wealth. Does this mean our inheritance systems are making generational inequalities worse? How can we change these systems to stop the gap between rich and poor from growing?
That's a tough problem, Michelle. Some say taxing inheritance heavily is like being taxed twice, once on earnings and again when wealth is passed on. But if we look at places like Sweden and Denmark, where there are such taxes, we see more equality and movement in society. Do these systems really help society grow, or do they hold back personal financial goals?
Let's question the usual thinking, Guy. New financial technologies might change how wealth is transferred completely. Think about AI systems using blockchain or digital money to share wealth fairly. Could these new ideas break down old wealth gaps and boost global fairness in the economy?
It's an interesting idea, Ryan, but we can't ignore the cultural importance of inheritance. It's always been about making sure families are safe and continue. How can we respect these old traditions while also meeting modern needs for fairness and equality without losing their real value?
This discussion makes us think bigger. Do old inheritance systems hold back social progress? Could changing these practices not only help the economy, but also renew culture, shifting focus from personal gain to community responsibility? As the rich get richer, isn't it crucial to rethink old inheritance ideas? Could changing our inheritance tax systems lead to better wealth sharing that helps everyone in society?
It's an important issue, Michelle. Some say high inheritance taxes slow down new ideas by adding costs. But Japan, with its strict tax system, has a strong economy with merit-based growth. Could this be the way to sustainable economic growth?
Imagine, Guy, if we use digital assets like NFTs and cryptocurrencies for inheritance. With smart contracts, wealth could be shared openly and fairly, possibly challenging traditional inheritance ideas. Could these technologies change how we see financial legacies?
While technology has great potential, Ryan, we can't ignore the personal side of inheritance. It's more than money, it's about family ties and future security. How can we mix these new ideas with the personal and emotional parts of legacy?
This brings us to a bigger question. Do old inheritance systems keep power imbalances and slow progress? Could changing these systems lead to both fairness and cultural growth, focusing on community rather than personal gain? Imagine this. What if inheritance was less important than community investments, with wealth mostly going to public projects? How might this change create a fairer future society?
It's a bold thought, Michelle. In countries like Sweden and Denmark, the community comes before personal wealth, and they have successful, inclusive societies. Could a community-focused model lead us to true equality?
Think, Guy, about how AI could manage these community investments with blockchain for clear and trusted processes. This technology might change how we share wealth, challenging traditional inheritance for communal success.
While these tech ideas are great, Ryan, can they truly hold the essence of inheritance, which is not just about money, it's also about family stories and personal identity? How do we balance the emotions of inheritance with changes for equality?
The key question is if old inheritance habits actually block progress. Can changing these old ways boost economic action while enriching cultures, putting public good over personal gain?